Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Cooking with Dr. Fred. So today what I thought I'd do is something I've never done before, which is broccoli latkes. I mean, holiday season is coming up for some people, and I am certainly, although I don't celebrate every holiday, I do like to enjoy the traditional cooking methods of each holiday. So I'm a big equal opportunity holiday recipe lover. And since so many of my patients come from different faiths, different nationalities, different cultures, it's always nice to offer them something also that they can use in their own cultural settings that are healthy and that can take the place of unhealthier choices. So today I figured, let's try broccoli latkes. I've never made them, so you and I are gonna go on this journey together, and we'll see if it works, who knows. But the one thing I do know about it is that it is gonna be extremely healthy. So we're gonna start with broccoli, like one of Mother Nature's most amazing vegetables. It's got B vitamins, it's got selenium, it's got magnesium, it's got all sorts of minerals, B12. And the interesting thing about broccoli, well, before I get to that, let me just tell you this part. I like to cut off the stalks. That's because it's less carbohydrate that way. I think it's less chewy that way. You don't have to. You can do whatever's comfortable for you in this situation. But I'm throwing them into this pot because we're gonna be boiling them. And the other good thing you can do with all the big stalks and stuff is what I'll do is I'll put it aside, and when the cooking video is over, I'm gonna sort of use the same pot and just make it into a vegetarian or a vegan stock. So that's something that you can do as well. So there's many, many ways of using all the bits of the plant and getting everything that you can possibly get from it. Anyway, back to broccoli. So broccoli also has anti-cancer formulas, and it's hormonal balancing. So we use it very often in people who have hormonally related cancers because these are cruciferous vegetables, and they have things like indole-3 carbinol in them. They have things like something called DIM, which is a very long name, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because I wouldn't even pretend to remember what DIM stands for. And so there you go. So that's how we're going to start off with the broccoli. So I'm going to turn this off for a minute, and I'll be right back because it's going to be boring to continue to watch me to chop up this broccoli. I'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. Okay, so this is all the broccoli heads, and I filled the pot with water. I mean, not completely because you don't really need it, but let me turn this on because we're going to have to bring it to a boil. Okay. And yes, that's the one thing I do hate about gas cooktops, that sometimes the igniter doesn't turn off. There we go, success. All right, so we're just gonna leave that there. The other thing we're gonna need for this is eggs. I'm gonna use the egg whites actually in a different recipe, so I'm gonna separate the eggs now, because you can use a whole egg, and normally I would use a whole egg in this, but I'm not going to because I really need the whites for something else, which you will love because it's going to be the first time that I'm doing a dessert recipe for you. But I do need the egg whites for that. So how I do this, I don't know how other people do it, but this is how I do it. I just take the egg, I crack it open, and you just sort of let the white fall out. It's kind of simple, easy. There must be some fancy tool at some fancy store that does this for you, but I kind of think that's good. Oops. I forgot to find a place where you put the yolk. Stand by. Oh, I'll be right back. Just a second. Okay. I'm gonna put the yolks on. Okay, so now we got that. Let me just see. I meant to do this over here, so that's why. Because I only need 2/3 of a cup of the yolk. So we'll see, that's 1/3 of a cup, so I have to fill that twice. Now, eggs. One of Mother Nature's most amazing foods. It is chock full of everything. There's nothing about an egg that is bad for you. And if I hear one more time that all the cholesterol in the egg is why you don't eat eggs, that's really dumb. Because eggs actually help lower your cholesterol, because they help with HDL, and they also help with the oxidized LDL. So eggs are actually really quite important when it comes to heart health. Not to mention all of the many various, I mean, if you think about the RDA, which is something I don't like to think about because you and I both know how stupid the RDA is. Okay, so that's 1/3. So, oh, now I need another cup. I really did not plan this quite well. Be right back. So even though the RDA, tells us what we need, what we don't need, it's sort of outdated. It was done in the 1940s. They've never updated it, so I'm not a big fan of it. But if you think about an egg has probably between 10 and 25% of what we need in one egg per day of B6, B12, folic acid, selenium, not to mention vitamins A, C, E, D, K. So you're just having an egg is just chock full. So I guess I'm going to need all 4 of these because it kind of looks like one egg gives you, oh, that's not good. Now, how do I get that out? Oh boy. All right, I'll figure it out. Maybe a spoon? Maybe. See, you got me so excited about eggs that I've lost it. Okay, well, that worked out well. See, you don't have to be perfect in the kitchen, folks. It's actually better when you're not. So anyway, where do we leave off? Oh, and it's one of the few food sources of vitamin D, so it is super important. Antioxidants galore in these eggs. And obviously you want to get eggs that have been pastured because there's a big difference between the amount of good fatty acids in an organic egg versus the amount of fatty acids in a non-organic egg. And we will talk about that in just a second when we get back, because I'll be right back, because now comes the boring part, because we've got to wait for the broccoli to cook. So I'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. So the broccoli, you'll know when the broccoli's ready when the water turns green a little bit, and you can actually smell broccoli. That's when you know it's cooked to perfection. Because you don't want to overcook it, because then all of those good vitamins and minerals and nutrients and all of that stuff that I told you about goes away. So now that it's done, we're going to turn that off. Let me grab some oven mitts. I know these are really awful looking oven mitts, so don't look too closely. Good thing this is an HD TV. I really need to buy new ones. So I'm going to go run over to the sink, and what I'm going to do is put this through a colander. I wouldn't naturally, because I would put it on something else to go into another pan to continue the broth, but I'm not in the mood to make broth today, so away it goes. Although you could put it in the freezer and just restart, but I thought about that too late. Okay, so now we've got the broccoli. I'm going to come show you how beautiful the color is. I don't know if you can see that, but see how bright green that is? You've kept all the vegetables in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera again, and I'm going to put this in a Cuisinart. The reason you can't see my Cuisinart is because if I put the Cuisinart into my kitchen island outlet, it will blow the fuse, and that wouldn't be good for any television program. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'll show you what it looks like after the food processor. You can use a food processor, you can use a blender, you can use whatever you want, but I'll be right back for that, my little galley mitts. Hello, and welcome back to Cooking with Dr. Fred. So now we've got, this is how the broccoli looks after it comes out of the Cuisinart. So it looks really good, delicious, green, yummy. I'm starving already just looking at it. So we're gonna put this in a bowl, just like that. Be very careful with these. These are very, very, very sharp. And then we're just gonna scoop out all of the broccoli. Unlike cauliflower, broccoli doesn't have as much moisture. So you can get away without having to put this in the oven to get the moisture out of it. So there's that much less moisture than cauliflower. So it's a little different to work with than cauliflower, but it's just as delicious. Actually, in this recipe, it's gonna be even better. Unless the whole thing falls apart, we don't know yet. You're gonna have to stay tuned to see. All right. Okay, so that's enough. So now we've got our broccoli, which is the base for our latkes. Most latkes have a little bit of onion in it, so I have some onion in here. So we're just gonna, this is probably not a good idea. I'll just do, I'm no no good way of doing this. All right, we're just gonna shred some onion into it. And remember, onion is a good prebiotic. So anytime you're using foods, remember, you wanna buy the best quality food you can because that's when you'll get the best antioxidants, prebiotics, probiotics, minerals, all of that stuff that you can get. So I don't know how much I really got out of that, but it'll make me feel better that onion went into it. My eyes are watering, so something must have happened. Okay, so that's our prebiotic. Whoa, my eyes are killing me now. Okay, all right, so we're gonna start with just maybe 1 egg yolk, because I'm not sure right now. We may need 2. So 1 egg yolk, like I said before, you could use the whole egg. I'm just using the, actually, you know what? Since they're out, let's use a proper tablespoon. So I'm gonna put a tablespoon of coconut flour in there. We're gonna put a tablespoon, so with coconut flour, you're getting antivirals. So you're getting monolaurin, you're getting lauric acid in that. You're also getting a flour that is way less in carbohydrates. Then I'm gonna put a tablespoon of organic flaxseed in there. And what are you getting in organic flaxseed? You're getting omega-3s, you're getting omega-6s. Oh, I forgot to tell you about that egg yolk thing and why it's so important to get natural eggs. So let's whip this up and see what happens. And we'll see how thick it becomes, because I might add a little Parmesan cheese, I may add an extra egg, I don't know. We're in this together, so let's just see what happens when we do this. So you just mix it up. Now, when it comes to eggs, you wanna make sure that you're using organic eggs because you're looking for the right ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory, and omega-6 fatty acids are pro-inflammatory. So you wanna make sure, and Mother Nature made eggs in their 1-to-1 omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Commercially farmed eggs will be 19 times more omega-6 than omega-3. So that is not good for you. That's inflammation. We all want to decrease inflammation. So you know how I'm a messy cooker and use my hands a lot. So we're just gonna see, that's a little loose. So, because we're gonna fry these up and make them lock-alike. I don't think it needs another egg. Let's put in a little Parmesan cheese because that'll give it some nice salt and a little bit of zest to it. We'll see how that goes. And then I think I'd be more inclined maybe to add in, oh, there we go, that's getting thicker. I'm gonna add in a little bit more, another tablespoon of coconut flour. And then I think we'll be exactly where we need to be with this. Now, if you really wanted to get into it, make it way more like latkes, what you would do is that you would have it really, you would probably put a lot of the stalk in it and really shred it out so you get like the shreds. So this will be more, this is a little subtler. So you can use it for many other things as well. So let's continue to stir this. And yeah, the coconut flour is doing its job. So it's soaking up any excess moisture that's in there. And it smells so good too, having the coconut flour. I do love coconuts. Maybe just because I'm nutty, but we'll see. All right, okay. So that seems to be the right consistency. So see when you touch it, it like you can actually make a patty out of it. And that's really what we're going for here. Okay, so there we go. Now my hands are a mess again. All right, now we're gonna fry these babies up. I think this is too small of a frying pan. So let me get a larger one. Let's see, I think the larger one's gonna be too big. I'll just do them in multiple batches in this one. So let's, can you see that pan? So guess what I'm gonna fry them in? That's right, macadamia nut oil. You can also use avocado oil, but this again has up to 80% monounsaturated fats. Monounsaturated fats are the most important fat for your heart. Your heart will not function efficiently without it. And that's what takes baking or frying something, makes it healthy. Right? So when you use a healthy oil to fry in, what you're getting out of it is gonna be just as healthy. So we've got egg, where we're getting all of those, we've got eggs, we've got flaxseed, coconut flour, broccoli. Every one of those has antioxidants, minerals, vitamins, and phytonutrients in them, including anti-cancer fighting properties. So don't look at this like he's frying something, it's bad for you. If you use the right oil, frying is not bad for you. So you just want to put enough oil in there so there's oil on the bottom of the pan. I tend to be a little heavy-handed, but that's just me. And then we're going to turn this back on. Okay, all right. And then you're just going to heat the oil. It'll be on medium-high heat. You could also do it, you can do it the neater way if you want, really. And you could use something like a ladle, where you take a ladle amount of wort so that they're all the same sort of size and stuff. But again, like I said, I'm not a lazy cooker, but I'm just cooking for myself and you guys, so I don't really need to do much. All right, so while the oil's heating up, I'm gonna put you back on hold for a minute. I'll be right back. Hello everyone, welcome back. We're gonna put some of this now. Just grab some, make it into a little patty-like thing, and off it goes into the fryer. And we'll see how that goes. And like I said, I have no clue how these are gonna turn out. They may not turn out at all. But it was certainly fun talking to you about all the health benefits of everything that we put in here. That's for sure. So why don't you stick with me, and we'll see how these turn out. I have a feeling they're gonna be a little, ow! Whew. That oil was hot. I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit. Just a little. So you can't lower it too much because when you're cooking things that don't have flour or binding ingredients, you kind of have to do it at high heat so that they stay intact. All right, let's see how those four turn out. No reason cooking the rest of them, it's useless. Let me just quickly wash my hands. I'll be right there. Get a spatula ready. Okay. They do smell good, I'm gonna tell you that. Let's see if I can turn over yet. Not bad. We may be onto something here. Latkes kings and queens of the world. I'm gonna throw in another one just for fun. All right. I think that'll be good. So you know what, I'd like to encourage you guys to send in recipes that you've done or videos that you've done, because I'd be happy to share with them on the website or through my social media. It's not just me doing all of this. I'd love for you to have learned something from it and teach me a few things. I'm always up for a good new recipe or trying one out. Like, as you can tell with this, we have no idea what this is gonna look like when we turn it over. Not what I expected. So maybe we will turn the gas back up. These may take a little longer than I thought to cook. They probably will. You know what? Since they're gonna take longer than I thought to cook, I'm gonna put you back on hold and we'll be right back. Hello, we're back. So everything looks like they're a little bit burning, or they certainly smell good. So let's see how they're staying. Not really doing what I wanted, but that's okay. Well, I think you have to burn the edges a little bit. I think I made a mistake with the first one that I didn't burn the edges. Because the ones that I burned, so I should have listened to myself. Because when you do things that don't have flour and you're trying to create a flour effect, you've got to do it on much higher heat. See, the much higher heat one stayed intact. This one that I turned before its time did not. Okay, so now we learned something. And there you go. That's what they're gonna look like. Until next time, I'm Dr. Fred, and this is Cooking with Dr. Fred.